Today's show is sponsored in part by Fulton Commons. We have had a co-working space there for a while. It's over in Manchester in this historic little neighborhood, and it's really thoughtfully decorated, like actual art on the walls, bright pops of color, these historic maps and eclectic furniture, and just so much gorgeous natural light. It really is a great place to be able to buckle down and get some work done, but also just like the experience while you're there. And all of this, of course, is just on the main floor, because downstairs is something totally different. It's a shared commercial kitchen, so fully stocked with equipment and appliances, storage, big fridges, prep areas. If you are just starting out in the food space and you've maybe outgrown your house but don't have it in you yet to go get an expensive lease on your own, this could be the perfect place for you to hone your craft and get to know other entrepreneurs. Also, if you are co-working upstairs, it can mean delicious samples. Check out Fulton Commons for yourself, for your small business, and for your food production needs. Visit fultonpgh.com to request a tour. CityCast Pittsburgh is supported today by the Heinz History Center and their newest exhibition, Pittsburgh's Hidden History. It is a cornucopia of curiosity, a magical menagerie of memory, and a little bit of this and that. There are flowery couches, relics from Kennywood, even a collection of shivs. If you listen to this show a lot, you know we are loving this. It is truly mind-boggling to see how the curators brought together such a wide range of rarely seen artifacts to tell Pittsburgh stories like never before. To buy your tickets and learn more, visit HeinzHistoryCenter.org. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh. Whether you've lived here for 5 minutes or 50 years, many of us are really proud to call Pittsburgh home. And for good reason. That skyline, the beautiful bridges, and our history. We have left our mark on everything from labor rights to dipping sauces. But Pittsburgh is not for everyone, like anyone who likes to see the sun after November. So today we are bringing back my conversation with our friends from City Paper, talking all about the types of people who may not make it here in Pittsburgh. It's Tuesday, November 11th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. It's a CityCast City Paper crossover extravaganza in here. I'm with City Paper editor Ali Tracta.
Hi there.
And audience engagement specialist Stacey Rounds. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
So you all created this list of 13 people who ain't going to make it here. What inspired the list?
One of the things that I love about an alt weekly, that we are so lucky to have here in Pittsburgh is that, we do a lot at the same time. We are always, covering really serious news stories. We're uplifting marginalized voices, but we can walk and chew gum at the same time. And sometimes we just feel like chewing gum. And this was one of those days when we came up with this. And we have that ability to have a little bit of fun. And, what we really like to do sometimes is just come up with ideas like this and work together on them and make them what, we hope is actually good and a fun quality read and something that people actually relate to and think is funny and is kind of on point. And so we came up with this and we just decided to go for it. And the whole staff worked together to put it together. And we had a ton of fun doing it.
I bet. Yeah. So it was y'all. It was Rachel Wilkinson, Colin Williams, and Amanda Waltz. I mean, were y'all calling each other out through some of this? Like, are these behaviors that you identified among the group?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think some of them in different ways.
I mean, Stacey, are you a born and bred Pittsburgher?
I'm not, but I am a born and bred Pennsylvanian.
Hey, that's something. How long have you lived here?
I've lived here 5 years.
So long enough to be able to identify some of this stuff.
Absolutely.
And also know where you fit among them.
Correct.
Ali, what about you? Born here?
I was born here. I was born and raised in the East End. I'm now back living in the East End after a period of, 15 plus years of not living here. So
boomerang.
Yeah.
Are there any single one of these that you were like, that might have been me in a past life?
Oh, absolutely. Well, for example, people who need to drive on a grid ain't going to make it here. And that's definitely in some ways me, in the sense of, I've lived in Chicago, I lived in Los Angeles. Both are at the very least grid cities, much more so than we are. And I actually found my way around there. I used to think I didn't have a good sense of direction. I actually have a perfectly fine sense of direction, but I just learned to drive here and was born and raised here. And it turns out it's just really hard to navigate the city. And still, I use Waze a lot more than I'd like to admit, but it's just very easy to make a wrong turn, cross a bridge, end up on the wrong side of a river.
Yeah, and then it's like a 20-minute mistake. It's not a short thing to have made the wrong choice. Or I think what Waze is really clutch for is the construction. Because
true.
you can know exactly how to get there, but that doesn't mean it will work today.
Also, there were not as many deer in my life many years ago. I know, Stacey, you can speak to that.
So one of the categories is people who don't want to live in a community with deer.
Yeah, that was something of a come to Jesus effect for me as well. I mean, growing up in Erie, we obviously had some, quite a few, and then I lived in Denver for quite some time, and we had some out there, and elk and moose and all that other stuff. But I was not prepared to have like 14 deer coming in and out of my yard all the time, and just the massive amount that just swarm around Allegheny County. So like at home, we have a structured routine with when we let our dog out and, everything else to try and like mitigate, any kind of incidences with the deer, like as much as possible, and to kind of allow them to live in peace and like poop all over my yard and do what they do, but allow them to do deer things while we do people things and live sort of harmoniously.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't matter where you live either. Like you can live in the country, you can live on the busiest street in the city of Pittsburgh with a fence.
Yep.
Does not matter.
No.
If they want in, they're getting in.
Absolutely. And if you can't beat them, join them.
Do you like to frolic through Bloomfield in the dark?
I'm nervous about the ticks and so forth. However, they're kind of just like our little outdoor pets.
They are. I tried to like Disney princess my way into like the deer fold. And
that's kind of how I feel about Northside raccoons. Like, they just live different over there. CityCast Pittsburgh is supported today by the Pittsburgh Opera and their first ever performances of Fellow Travelers. The opera takes place during the 1950s, the McCarthy era, and a young college graduate shows up to D.C., eager to join the State Department. But this is also during the Lavender Scare, and our main character falls in love with another man. Fellow Travelers is based on the book by Thomas Mallon, and the opera is quickly becoming a contemporary classic. You can catch Fellow Travelers at the Byham Theater for one weekend only. There are only 3 performances from November 14th through the 16th. The tickets start at just $20, and there are a whole bunch of discounts. So for kids, for students, for seniors, for military, and even just for big groups, this is such an important story, especially at this moment. So grab your friends and head downtown for Fellow Travelers. Learn more at pittsburghopera.org/citycast. Today's show is brought to you by City Theater. Confession, I have never read Little Women. I know it's a classic. I have heard all about the March sisters, Jo and Beth and Meg and Amy. The one literally has my name. And of course, their creator, author Louisa May Alcott. I really meant to do it. It just never happened. But now, maybe my actual introduction to the story will get to be a little more local, more Pittsburgh, because City Theater has co-commissioned and produced its own version that they say blends the heartwarming coming-of-age story you love, the empowerment, the family bonds, the resilience, but also the very creation of the literary masterpiece itself, with Alcott at the center of it. It's a new adaptation of a beloved classic and a world premiere, all from playwright Lauren Gunderson, who brought us The Revolutionists and the Christmas at Pemberley series that y'all have been raving about to me for a few years now. City Theater says it's perfect for the holidays, a total celebration of sisterhood and aspiration. So grab your loved ones and look for performances November 15th through December 7th. Learn more at citytheatercompany.org. Well, I feel like we've jumped straight in, but tell me a couple more types. I guess one that you didn't write, Stacey, that you thought like, yes, absolutely, you are not going to make it in the city of Pittsburgh.
100% Collins blurb about people who don't like or think Mr. Rogers is creepy. I was like, time out.
I didn't know that was a thing. Do people think Mr. Rogers is creepy?
I think that we are born and raised, or at least trained, to understand the fact that he is a national treasure and a hero, but I don't know that everyone necessarily feels that way outside of this city. He's a family member here.
Yeah.
I mean, I was born and raised, folks who listen to the show know this. I was born and raised in Tennessee. And so like nowhere near here. I came here for a job in my early 20s. I didn't think he was weird. I mean, I was a PBS stan from my earliest days.
Yeah. I don't know how Gen Z feels. They might feel differently.
They might. And I think, the like Tom Hanks, as Mr. Rogers, people may have had like some like thoughts or feelings about that. I loved him personally, but yeah. And I think maybe people are conflating Mr. Rogers with the Mr. Rogers show, because I will give it to people. Those puppets were creepy. Those puppets were all kinds of creepy.
I mean, they were a humble set of puppets. I will grant you that. They have evolved, though. Like Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood is adorable.
Oh,
and
it's so adorable.
It's like a really cute and clever, I think, interpretation of what the modern incarnation of some of those not amazing looking puppets could have looked like with some
absolutely.
different craftsmanship back in the day.
Yes.
People have to remember that this was, it was like the 1960s or 70s when those puppets were actually like made and put out there. So, I don't know if they ever changed or were like recreated throughout the years. I honestly don't remember. I do remember watching that show curled up on my dad's lap and getting really excited about it as a kid. Aww. But just the same way my son is with Daniel Tiger. So anyone who thinks he's creepy needs to get out of Pittsburgh immediately. I'm with Colin there.
Allie, what about you? What's one that really speaks to your soul?
I don't know if it speaks to my soul, but basically one that I realized was very true was one Amanda Waltz wrote, which is, if you are not comfortable bumping into your exes, you're going to have a lot of problems here, because it is really true that Pittsburgh in many ways is just a small town. And not only is it a small town, our neighborhoods are small, and it's, if you date someone, I think they're in your life forever to a degree, because we all kind of run into everybody everywhere, I think, and that includes your exes. And I think that that's just a cautionary tale. You better be ready. If you're dating in this town, be ready.
Well, I feel like too, like it's so easy to not just run into them, but like everybody in the world seems to have some weird Pittsburgh connection.
Yes.
My college partner from solidly 18 years ago married a Pittsburgher, now lives a mile away from me.
Well, of course, because if you marry a Pittsburgher, you will live here. Yeah. That's in the contract. I mean, that's so many people. I mean, I feel like I meet people all the time who are not from here, and it's, oh, how did you move here? Oh, my wife is from Pittsburgh. Oh, then of course, it's like automatic that you're going to move here. So
yeah,
that brings a lot of people in.
When most of us want to learn a new language, it's not because we're dying to memorize grammar tables or ace a quiz. It's because we actually want to speak it out in the real world with real people. And that's what Babbel is great at, getting you there fast. Hey, it's Michael Zibiak, Chief Revenue Officer here at CityCast. My daughter's a senior in high school, and after graduation, we're taking a father-daughter trip to Spain. And right now, my Spanish is, let's just say, very high school level. Shout out to Senior Patty from Syosset High School. You tried. When we're in Spain, I'd love to do more than just ask where the bathroom is. I want to be able to chat with locals, order tapas, and actually connect, not just read the menu and point. So I'm starting with Babbel. It's all about small steps, big wins, and it's super easy to fit into my life. Honestly, with how busy things get here at CityCast, I love that Babbel's bite-sized, 10-minute lessons fit right into my day, between meetings or over my morning coffee. I'm excited to pick up some real-world Spanish before we go, so we can experience Spain like locals, not tourists. Doesn't that sound better? Right now, Babbel's got a special deal for our listeners. Get up to 55% off your subscription at babbel.com/citycast. That's BABBEL.com/citycast for up to 55% off. Rules and restrictions may apply. Gracias and adios.
I want to talk about another one just because I feel like it has been central to a city paper experience for a while. People who aren't down to cry at Arby's need to just get out of town. I feel like that's been a running joke in city paper for like at least a few years. It's always on the best of Pittsburgh list that y'all publish every year. I'm curious, like why the McKnight Arby's? And I wonder if there's anywhere else you would recommend crying in the city of Pittsburgh.
Well, so the best of list, that's all crowdsourced. So, we're taking it from our readers that this is the best place in town to cry. And as a person who lives in the North Hills, I can tell you that that is a very sad place. And I don't blame anybody who wants to go there and cry. And there's several reasons you could cry there. And I've heard some stories, like the day that they didn't have the meats, I would cry. If I went into an Arby's hungry, expecting a roast beef sandwich and they were like, we're out of roast beef, like I would literally cry everywhere.
Honestly, that option never occurred to me. I was imagining something much more existential.
It probably is.
I think it's all things. If you are having a crisis, I think you should just drive to the parking lot and cry. Or maybe, you get there and you just find yourself sad. I think everyone can have a good cry for whatever reason there.
Yeah, we're approaching, or for some of us, in holiday shopping season, and Ross Park Mall is right there. It's so easy to overspend. And if you have, and if you know your credit card bills are coming and they're going to be tremendous, you can always just stop at that parking lot on your way back to home and just have a good existential spending crisis cry.
I feel like I hope that y'all are starting something with that. Like, I kind of want you to have like a QR code on one of the light poles there or something. Be like, are you here on the recommendation of City Paper to cry? Please let us know.
And maybe people could find each other.
They can.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the eye contact from vehicle to vehicle. Like, are you too here to cry?
I love that.
Give them the,
It's like Grindr, but for crying in a parking lot.
I do take umbrage with one of yours. I think that people who say sports ball absolutely should exist in the city of Pittsburgh. Because I feel like it balances everybody who's truly obsessed with the teams,
I think that's fair. And I think that, there's so much to our city beyond our sports teams. And so I think that's fair. I think our reasoning behind that was simply that even if you're not a huge fan of sort of the big three, black and gold, that's fine. It doesn't have to be your life, but you got to respect it. You can't be one of those people that's like, football's a waste of time or whatever it may be. I think the idea that, you have to just kind of be open to understanding that sports is going to be a priority for a lot of people here. And if it's not yours, that's totally fine, but it's not going anywhere.
I also think it offers every resident of the city of Pittsburgh an established uniform or color palette.
Yes.
Even if it's not really like in support of one of our teams, you can always wear black and gold here and no one will bat an eye. You can really fade into the background with that color palette.
You really can. And that's a beautiful thing.
It is.
There was one I thought that was like, had kind of a note of like a recommendation, like a how to enjoy your community more. And that was about being handy. Like if you're not handy, it's difficult to exist here. But Colin Williams, his write-up suggested like, if you're not, then go make friends with people who are.
Yes, we are building community. I think that that's a very important thing. And actually, Colin is very handy himself. I am not handy at all. And I realized that he really did have a point. I should probably watch some YouTube videos, but I'm not going to. I'm just probably going to rely on other people. But, now more than ever, that's what we need, right?
I mean, I feel like that's what Nextdoor and Facebook and like just your friend group are for, is to be like, hey, I have this problem. I don't know how to fix it. Someone come help me. More often than not, I feel like it's my friends that are like, oh, I can change out your sink, no problem.
Oh, those are the best friends.
They are.
You got to have a guy.
You do.
What about this? Can I add one? Because I think I have a 14th. People who like the sun maybe ain't going to make it in the city of Pittsburgh.
See,
Tough one.
I grew up in Erie and there's a lot more sun here than there.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I think we are the grayest of any city in the U.S., but it's probably over a certain size.
It probably is.
Which is the only reason we would beat Erie.
Yeah. And like I said, I also lived in Denver, so you get 330 some odd days of sunshine there. And
so you're spoiled is what you're telling me.
Kind of, but you also, you're closer to the sun. So anytime the sun's out, you're going to get burned. And you also have fires and hail and, all this other stuff.
So I think you're one of the people that will be fine in Pittsburgh because you don't like the sun that much.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I like a rainy day.
At least we know what we're missing. So when the sun does come out, we can be extra appreciative,
That's
right?
so great. Do cartwheels.
Allie, Stacy, thank you all so much. Again, if you're interested in checking out the 13 types of people in Pittsburgh who probably ain't going to make it, you can go to pghcitypaper.com.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you want more from Allie and Stacy and all of our friends over at Pittsburgh City Paper, you can find a link to their article in our show notes. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I actually have a neighbor who lives behind me who's a handyman. So I just kind of like, hey, Jordan, I need help with this. So that's a big plus.
The best neighbors right there.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a marker of knowing that you are an established Pittsburgher is when you start to have a guy for various things, or one of your close friends is like a handyman or something like it, or a car mechanic, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When you know who to go to and you can make the recommendation or hoard that recommendation for yourself.
Yes, sometimes you can't share those things.
That's when you know you've really made it here.
Absolutely.
Guess what? CityCast has some news. I'm Sean McPherson, the host of CityCast Twin Cities.
And I'm Jane Sihu, and I'm the host of CityCast Seattle. Hey, if you have a friend in one of our cities, can you text them for us?
Yeah, something, simple like, hey, how's that rash doing? And do you listen to podcasts? Because I have one you're definitely going to like. After that, tell them that CityCast has helped you become more informed, more involved, and more connected to your amazing city.
We're going to help that person you know in Seattle who's been trying to make friends.
And we're also going to do that for that guy you only kind of knew in college who moved back to the Twin Cities after graduation.
Don't we all have that guy?
Yeah, and usually that guy is named Todd.
So did you text them yet?
Jane, let's just wait a minute. We don't want to rush anybody. We'll do a little small talk. How's everything going in Seattle?
Beautiful, beautiful. Fall leaves popping. How about Twin Cities?
Today, beautiful and sunshiny in St. Paul. Okay, Jane, I bet they are done texting by now, and I just want to remind them, hey, you, please tell that friend to subscribe to CityCast Twin Cities or Seattle, wherever you get your podcasts.
Or if you don't want to text them and you're really just on Instagram sending them DMs all the time with like funny videos, send them a DM of our latest videos. You can find us at CityCast Twin Cities or CityCast Seattle on Instagram. Thanks.